Howdy, howdy, howdy. Well, wait a minute, or two, or three. I need to throw some trash away over there. I mean, for fuck's sake, Nick. Trash can's right there. It probably helps to put a trash bag in the can. It's a little thing I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I just kind of labeled this high YouTube, and there's a good reason for that. I just wanted to label it high YouTube, as in, hi people. Um, Basically, I just figured something out the other day that I wasn't even aware of. Somebody in the animal keeping community became a drug addict in the last 2 years or something like that. And, you know, me myself, I haven't been present to keep enough attention or keep enough track because I've been too busy working and all that. But basically, I get where that person is coming from, not throwing any shade or anything like that. I get where they're coming from because I've been there. A lot of people don't realize that about me. I've been there. And basically, what I'm trying to say is people are so quick to judge anymore, they don't actually look at the person for being a person. They just look at them for having an addiction and so on and so forth. And like, my channel hasn't really gotten the amount of viewers that I'd like in the last few years. It's actually dropped with a buttload of subscribers, and probably some of them for the better, some of them for the worse. But you know, to be real, to be straight up real, before all these younger generation were getting hooked to heroin and all that, I'd already been fucking with the game for 5 6 years. It blows me away to see these people have to go through it to understand it better, and I just don't get it. It's really one of those things that it's not, I guess, in my mind frame to get or understand. But when you got a couple million subscribers and you go out and go to a party and you let peer pressure basically dupe you, don't get me wrong, I've been there. I was there just 10 years ago. 10 years ago, basically. And look at me now. I mean, yeah, I'm still struggling. I still got shit I have to do every day just not to think about focusing on heroin. Dope. And people act like it's a joke. It ain't a joke. Addiction's real. Now, do I say addiction is a disease? Nah, it's a mind frame. It's a state of mind. Really, it is. You have to wake up every day, tell yourself, I won't get high. I won't get high. So stupid, but I won't get high. Yada yada. And basically, I quit heroin cold turkey. All these kids out there are taking naloxone and I might be pronouncing that wrong, but Suboxone, Subutex, all these drugs that really just, in my eyes, get you addicted to heroin even further and don't do anything but create more addicts. And people are going to be blown away by Nick actually speaking truth. Yeah, but it's like Johnny Craig. That guy's a complete scumbag, and that's where I'm talking about right now. I just found that shit out. I think last night, somewhere around 3 a.m. I go to bed late, okay, because I don't have to wake up till 11. I work my own hours. I walk dogs. It's a pretty easy job. It's not stressful. I play piano. I create music. At least I try to. I'm trying to further a degree, 2 degrees actually. Most people can't even say that. And you know what? I never finished high school. Most people get, oh, you know, oh, he never finished high school? What a loser. Well, you know what? I had other things planned at the time. At least I'm not out there, trying to be some hotshot rock star doping girls up and shit. And because that really offends me. Like, your addiction became their addiction, yada yada, so on and so forth. I get how that goes because people don't have self control when they have addictive tendencies. They don't. You know how I know that? Because I don't have self control. I I cannot go out to a bar without obliterating myself and waking up the next morning feeling like absolute piss. It's part of my body saying, hey, you drank a little too much, or yada yada. I haven't drank in months, just throwing that out there. But so on and so forth. When you're an addict, you go for that first thing that can get you every time, every time, every time. The only reason I know that is because I subbed it out with hobbies, and that's very hard to do. You gotta substitute it out with hobbies and change your routine. And I realize there's nobody watching this video, but I don't really care. It's not one of those videos. It'll be left here for later. But yeah, I don't even know if my mic's working. I'll have to check that, I guess. Ellie's over there licking herself. Jesus Christ. For years, I didn't even smoke cigarettes or any of that vape or, I quit for 2 whole years. Here, I'm checking if my sound's coming in. There's still 0 people watching. There's probably everybody's at work. My sound's coming in. Yep, my sound's coming in. There's still. Ellie is over there done licking herself. Anyway, my point is don't judge people just because they have a couple million subscribers. They're still people. At the end of the day, I don't judge the person I'm specifically speaking towards. I do, however, don't condone their actions. I don't agree with their actions. I may be 2 years late on this, or 3 or 4 months late on this, but I kind of didn't like it when that person that I'm talking about got with that other person, just saying, because I could see what type of person he was, because I used to be one. Just saying, you need help. The other party in this that I'm talking about, you really do. Some people can't get that through going through rehab. Some people have to do it on their own. And my reality to this is, I'm still addicted to a couple substances, but hey, I'm not addicted to heroin anymore. I'm not addicted to any other drugs anymore. I've been clean off other drugs for going on 11 and a half, almost close to 12 years. I always thought it was 14, but I guess I miscounted by 2 years. Happens. Yeah, I drink occasionally, yada yada. But the point is don't let those things rule your life. I still keep fish. I still keep a dog. I still want other animals. I just have to get a bigger place that's not a rental. Working on that. Actually thinking about getting rid of all this. People would be like, "Oh my god. He looks so different." But yeah. There's why. For some reason it keeps just not growing any hair right there. Or if I do, it gets so inflamed and ingrown that it bugs the shit out of me and I rip it out. I don't know why she picks the spots right under the windows, but she does. She's laying on a hardwood floor or laminate wood floor or whatever you want to call it. I could have done a better job on the flooring in here, but that's just me. Anywho, I just thought I'd speak up on that. I mean, most people don't understand where that's coming from. And I'm totally in support of the person that I'm talking about in her recovery. And yeah, I might be a little judgy, but it's like at the same time I didn't have to do all that to get off dope. That's just me. Everybody's different though. So like yeah. But to be frank, I really don't see the point in the youth being addicted to a substance that is no longer just heroin. It's carfentanil and fentanyl and all this other crap. And really, what they're doing is destroying themselves and killing themselves, because your body, after all, is a freaking temple. And if you don't treat it like a temple, then it won't be a temple. If that makes any sense to anybody, I don't know. But that's my views on it. That's my point of view on it. The fish have TB. Well, at least the freshwater fish do. The top tank. The I I get forgetful in my own mind. The puffers all died. This isn't even a fish video, but my channel is fish related, so I thought I'd share that. I escaped the drug world by getting into fish and hobbies and everything else. I just submerged myself in everything else. I tried the whole helping people thing for 3.5 years. For me, that's a very hard thing to do. I volunteered at a church for 3.5 years, and personally, I felt like I got used by the church. So there you go with that scenario. But God doesn't put people in places where they're not going to be used with their talents that they have. If you didn't have any talents, you wouldn't have been put there, etc., etc., etc. But my point to this is like fucking kids these days, dude. Not even just kids. Like I see it going through my Facebook all the time. People post how they just got off this substance and this substance and this substance and this substance, and I just don't understand where they're coming from, because I did it 10 freaking years ago. 10 or 11 freaking years ago, 12, whatever. The fucking point is I was hardcore addicted. Like, you talk about doing 700, 800. I don't get where they're coming from. I just seen like exactly how much money she spent in the last 3 years, 2 years, whatever. It blows my mind how you would do that much, because I didn't even do that much. Gram, 2 grams, 3 grams. That's all irrelevant. The point is that I'm making is when I was addicted, I was also selling that crap. And it was worse than anything I could ever want to admit or do in my life. It was just to get high. Just stupid. We all have faults, though, and I'm not going to give you an exact time frame, so some narc can come in and line this up and try to build some bullshit case. You get what I'm saying. The point I'm making is, hey, I'm clean. 12 years. This tattoo is the reason. It's like shit. Most people just don't get it. They don't understand how to stay away from it. Use things to stay away from the things that make you a bad person. Don't let stress make you a bad person as well. That can be a big one. People don't understand once they've been an addict. You tend to let stress pile and pile and pile and pile and compile and compile until it becomes anxiety. And then the anxiety turns into both anxiety and what's the other one? Panic attacks. And basically, you're stuck in this limbo state where you can't get your mind straight. Wow. I'm supposed to play this song called Toccatina. Toccatina by E.L. Lancaster. And I'll just tell you that when you have to do two notes at the same time on two different hands, it's really, 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 really hard. I think that's the two notes that it starts on. Or it's. She doesn't like piano. What are you gonna do, right? Deaf dog doesn't like piano. You can't play piano around her. She has to be asleep when you play piano. I don't understand it. She doesn't like the taps or something. I don't know. But it is what it is. Just like an addiction, it is what it is. Addiction shows no area code. It shows no skin color. It doesn't even show you who it's going to choose. It just chooses people. And it can rule your life if you let it. And clearly, there's some people out there that shouldn't have a YouTube following because they are addicts and they create other addicts out of other people. And I'm not talking about, a certain girl that I was talking about earlier. I'm talking about the guy in that scenario. Just should get clean, should go to rehab if that's what it freaking takes for him. Or, daily hikes or whatever, something to retrain the brain into doing something else instead of destroying people. What's your problem? You need water? Come on. She's sitting over there panting. Sorry, I had to take care of her first. She really doesn't like piano. This thing's been through the dishwasher twice, and this sticker's still not come off. It's kind of funny. Came from the Doral, I think that place is called. What was it, $16 cup? Anywho, my point is been made, and this isn't like really passing judgment at people. I just think it's kind of crazy how I'm really by far flabbergasted how easy it is to just obtain drugs anymore for people. I already knew that it was easy back in the day. I could get drugs anywhere. But the point is that was an addiction. That was an old me. That's not the new me. I mean, like, old me would have took things from people without even taking a second glance at it. Just straight took things from people and lied about it. And I didn't like that person. And I didn't like that person when I looked him in the eyes in the mirror. And that person caused me to lose this front tooth because that was a whole different person of me. And when you're on those types of drugs, you are a complete, utter, different person. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how many thousands, millions of subscribers you are. Addiction really knows no area code, has no discretion on your life. It'll take it and steal it. And it'll steal the things that help you bring joy to your life. Like for me, that was music. And I forgot how to read music, and I've had to reteach myself how to read music because it was so long ago that, in between those years, from being a teenager, a young teenager, not an older teenager that was 18, yada yada, could go out and buy cigarettes and all that other bullshit, and had people that would buy him alcohol, etc., etc. See how that became an addictive lifestyle that was surrounded around, because I lived in a town called Lake Havasu Shitty, aka Lake Havasu City, Arizona. I will never go back there, and I will never go back to Arizona, and that's part of the reason why, is because I don't like addiction, and I keep myself far away from that addiction. I mean, yeah, sure, people can go out and smoke weed all they want. I don't give a crap about that. To me, I see weed as just a plant that's really misappropriated into being something that everybody thinks they need to get high on, when really it's more medicinal than anything. And basically, the government's the thing holding that back, being medicinally used. But, that is what it is. And I can't play this Snapchat right now because it's a video, and she usually has music playing in the background. I don't need a copyright strike on here right now. But yeah, doing this live is way more complicated than, shooting out a 5-minute video or whatever. And I get 100%. I'll just straight out say it. I get 100% where Taylor Nicole Dean is coming from. Dude's a fucking loser. Honestly, I don't see how she got with a loser like that. But hey, I was a loser too. So, again, I can't throw shade. I can't judge because I was there. I went through it. I had to go through it to get out of it. And that's what a lot of people don't realize about any form of addiction, whether it be alcohol, drugs, etc., etc., etc. Porn. Porn is an addiction. People don't realize that. Just saying. What's up, Captain? What's up, Fish Tropic? In a few weeks here, actually, let's see. I've got like 7 more months to pay off that refugium, but in those 7 more months, I'm going to start up the new tank, which really is using my old sand from my previous saltwater tank. But I don't have any sand in my saltwater tank at the moment, and there are still fish living in it. And this is vape juice, and it is called Lincoln by Dead Presidents. The bottle is sitting right there. And this coil is about beat. I'm waiting on coils to come in from Singapore that already came in. They're already in the country. They're just en route or whatever. I guess they'll be here tomorrow, which kind of pisses me off because I've already been waiting 2 weeks. Cheaper to buy them online, though, the way that I bought those, because those coils would be $30 to $45 in store, because they are a six in one, uh how do I explain this? Not like it is like a mesh coil, but not like a mesh coil. It it's a smock coil. It's the biggest one they make for the baby beast, I believe. Yeah, the biggest one they make for the baby beast, and basically it is a cloud house, and it is better than this one here, obviously, which is only a two banger, which it means two coils in one, and basically sucks because it limits how much you can actually intake, outtake, etc. The less ventilation it has going through the. It's like a carburetor, right? For a car, the more ventilation the carburetor has, the more oil that's going to go through the car, right? Same construct with a vape. Words, man, they don't always flow. Pretty much had everything but my onions, my potatoes that are underground, and my strawberries die in the greenhouse. The greenhouse has been going like this, like crazy 50 to 60 mile an hour winds, and basically destroyed majority of it. I've zip tied and done everything redneck fix possible to fix the greenhouse so that I would have tomatoes and onions and all my typical vegetables that I like to eat growing out there, and that didn't work. So we're going to go back to the drawing board later this year, probably build something that'll lean off the gate and vice versa, be screwed to the other side of the gate. So that way, when I leave or move, I can just unscrew a bunch of things and it comes down and it comes with me and it goes. And my point to this is basically I'm going to go out and spend a couple $100 on materials. God, blank. To put paneling. It's like plastic paneling that they use on like for windows or whatever on sheds and stuff. And sometimes I've seen people use it for roofing, but it can be, it's plastic. It's pretty hard, but it can break. So there gives you a thought in your mind. It'll probably be stronger than plastic painter's tarps. I didn't think about 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. That wasn't in my mind frame when I was building it, you know. You don't always think things out when you're ex addict. You just kind of go and do and do and do. Is what it is. If it weren't for my cousin who is an ex-military sergeant um, and his wife, I probably wouldn't be here today. But you know, that's part of my story. And if it weren't for all that, me getting off of dope and being able to go back to California and basically start over and try to, you know, redo things and, you know, fix things, fix me and my mom's relationship. And, you know, you got to work on one relationship at a time. And I guess my sister doesn't even talk to me anymore. I've tried. I guess it might be something to do with me voting for Trump, but you know, I really don't know what to say on that end. Don't let your feelings get so hurt. That's all I can really say. Um, basically, my other sister that's the reason she doesn't really even communicate with me at all. And that's my mom's daughter. The other one is my dad's daughter. And whatever. Older brother, he's a complete freaking liberal. My oldest brother, I should put that out there. My older brother, my brother that I used to live with, is not a liberal. He's a Trump supporter. So we kind of get along, but we kind of don't. It's like I have to fix the brokenness that I created. And that is what it is. And I live over 800 miles away from some of the brokenness. And then about 400 to maybe 600 miles away from the other part of the brokenness. So I kind of moved away to get some space from my family so that I wasn't to the point that, you know, they were always in my business, so to say. But that's not a bad thing, and it can be a bad thing. But at times, I wish I still had some of that family around me. But I'm not in California anymore, and that's part of the problem. But I don't really want to be in California anymore with, you know, senators like Adam Shit for brains, because, you know, that state's gone ass backwards liberal, and I can't live in a state like that. Just can't be surrounded around people that are so narrow-minded that they think socialism is great for a freaking country, because about 70% voted for freaking Bernie in California. I'm just going off numbers. I can't live like that. I can't live in a state where, you know, socialism leads to drugs. Drugs lead to being everywhere in a socialistic state. Sorry to tell you. Can't be around it. Went to school so I'd get smarter up here and know how to use this. Never finished high school. AKA, I'm going through college without a high school diploma. Not a lot of people do that. It's very expensive, just so you know. Oh, we're dead. Hey. By the way, this vape is waterproof, pretty much drop proof other than the glass. I've broken one tank already on it, so. In my back. I agree with that statement. Education is key to success, and I just put that battery in backwards. What's today? Tomorrow's trash day. I should probably go put them out. I just think it's crazy that someone who makes that much money off of YouTube would go that direction. But at the same time, no judgment passed, because I came from that direction when I started to do YouTube. In 2010, I was still technically a drug addict, completely full blown. So I think either 2010, 2009, I created my YouTube channel. I just never really posted anything. I tried to, but my phone was so shitty that where is it? It's in the drawer here somewhere. No, it's in the other room. Anyways, it's a flip phone. It's an old BlackBerry. I got 2 or 3 of these throughout the generation because they weren't that bad of a phone. Okay. And lo and behold, I had videos on there that I tried to upload to YouTube, but my connection was so bad with my phone, it would never upload. Uh, it's kind of funny now looking back at it because you don't think about all the shit that you used to do. And I like, I wish I would have kept more of my old memory cards because, like I have friends on there that are now gone, dead because of circumstance. And the circumstance with the person I was speaking about earlier isn't too far off from my other friend's circumstance. She was with somebody who was selling drugs and doing drugs and ended up supposedly, I don't believe this till to this day, killing herself with his own gun. Oh, come on. Come on now, people. You can't tell me that that doesn't sound crazy to you, even. I don't believe she killed herself. I believe he killed her and made it look like a suicide, but that's my belief. I'm allowed to think what I want to think, just like anybody out there is allowed to think what they want to think. And the whole reason behind it is because she wanted to leave him and get off dope. Go figure. Crime of passion. And that's my best friend. And basically, she's gone. And, one of my best friends, I've got 3 or 4 best friends, and I had a big circle of friends, okay? Huge circle of friends growing up. One by one by one, it's either been drugs or some crazy mishap. Gone. My closest friend, still to this day, one of them is Lane, the other one's Kevin. They're still alive. Those are the two that I basically call a lot. I call them when I got the extra time. Usually, right now would be the extra time, but I'm doing a YouTube video right now. So you get where that goes. That time is being spent on you guys out there in the YouTube world, in the internet world. Something I did realize when I was fixing and repairing that greenhouse is I need to go out and buy a head for a drill that spins around in circles that is like a file and saw off all these freaking heads to these or these backs to these screws because I keep stabbing my hands and my fingers and cutting my arms and all kinds of shit on the backs of these screws, and it doesn't feel very well. So that was a little, again, oversight by myself, not buying enough things to get the job done before the weather came. But, getting laid off, you can't really buy what you need. Got laid off by 2 companies, painting company, and then a couple months later, shortly after that, Lime laid over 30,000 people off per state. So if you think about that, that's like almost all their output. And I think that's per country too. They cut back because there's been too many injuries and there's also been too much of an upkeep cost or something like that, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. At least I still have one job. Was working 3. Not all at the same time, but you get where I'm coming from. I want to possibly get a second computer, and I don't even care if it's a cheap computer. Just set it up downstairs so that when I want to go live for YouTube downstairs and other shit, I can instead of having to lug a desktop up and downstairs, up and downstairs. It's just too much work. But Yeah. You got homework, Captain? What you been doing? Yeah, vaping is a little bit cheaper than cigarettes. I buy less now than I used to. I still buy a bottle a week, probably, or every 2 weeks, but it's not like from one of these stores that is charging $20 a fucking bottle. I'm not gonna go there anymore. $13 is a lot cheaper than 20. And then you save what, $6 because there's tax. But yeah, basically, I swapped addictions for addictions, yada yada, and I learned how to cope not being on dope. That rhymed. That and my face looks a lot less sunk, like it did 4 or 5, 6 years ago. But most people don't even realize. Oh, hey, Nick the Dick was a heroin addict. I've shared that before. I think the last video got deleted because some troll basically just hit that video with not safe for something or other flag every 2 days. And I know who that troll is. It's because I blocked his ass because he used to be in my videos. And his name's Ryan. And I don't usually talk shit about people, but he can go fuck himself. Really. I don't even like giving him validation in my videos because I don't even know if Ryan was his real name. Because he went by Cthulhu, which is just as stupid as, you know. And this is all meanwhile while I was getting clean off dope, by the way, for all these people that don't know. Um, this was like 2 years maybe after or something like that. We're deep diving back into my brain. Sorry, it takes a few minutes. Oh, the flavor of this is creamy blend of melon or melons and luscious berries. I didn't like it at first because I still had some blue raspberry cotton candy with a hint of puckering sour, aka Washington, and it kind of made it taste funky, like super funky. But yeah, sorry, I'm jumping back and forth because I'm trying to think of other things to talk about. This is a live video after all. I try to keep people's attention for the most part. I would take you downstairs, but there's no way of that possibly happening. I don't even think that the GoPro app will work anymore because I don't have 2,000 subscribers or whatever, 1,000 subscribers. I'm sorry, people left the Nick the Dick train. Ugh, my feelings aren't hurt. Not at all. I want to get the new GoPro. This is a 5. But yeah, I'm broke. Can't get the new GoPro. I should probably just focus on littler things that are less expensive because that's about $700 for everything that I want with it. The new GoPro also zooms and has a front and back camera. Like both sides work as a camera. I don't get how that works, but okay. it's like, why didn't you just put that into the models when you were first inventing the damn fucking camera? Sorry for my mouth there, but that to me is like absurd. Let's go backwards to create technology. Let's create it from the start to the finish. It's like, no, why didn't you just do that from the get go? Make zooms and all the other crud. I love how these people call me, but they never leave a freaking voice message. Nothing. That's how you know they're a scammer. I still walk through WAG every week, but I haven't been doing it as much last 2 weeks. So I didn't make as much last 2 weeks. And I still made my, $75 a week, but through these other dogs that I got as a client through WAG, because I walked them so many times through WAG that she just left a note one day, and then I now walk them full time, and she's an Army vet, and she's pretty cool. Kind of what inspired me to try to join any branch of the military that I could. I'm trying right now, but it's just a bunch of hoops that I have to jump through first. Like, partially, I have to try to go out and at least attempt getting a GED, or take some form of the SATs. And I'm being lazy, because then that proves that I actually took the time to, go through college, all that other crap. And I'm still in college, all that other crap. And I'm trying to see if working with them, they'll get me through having a high school degree, if that makes sense. Because I already have like so many credits through college that I believe they are applicable in the same standing, but I could be wrong. And it's just been like, I've been putting it on. He said I can call him at any time to get more information and yada yada. You left a big old long message. I went to try to go join the Marines in California. They basically they denied me and yada yada because of this and another tattoo there. Kind of dumb. But now the Army's kind of changed their standing on tattoos. The last two officers that I talked to said that they've both had tattoos prior to being in the military, and they still got in. Just kind of cool. I'd like to do that, but everybody in my okay, let me rephrase that. Every male in my family, for the most part, has been in military or been a politician. There you go. On one side or another, they've served in some form, shape, or another. And Suri, you're dumb. I didn't even tell her nothing. Stupid Suri. I need to warm some coffee. I think I'll go about 10, maybe 15 more minutes with this video, because I've already shot up what I was going to talk about. Shut up. That was a joke. They can give you a waiver? I didn't know that. I still can't do as many pull-ups as I used to be able to do. I should have tried right when I did kind of try when I was in my kickboxing class, because I was doing at least 100 to 200 pull-ups a day. and now I barely am pumping out 10. So, yeah, I feel like I've gotten lazy again. Pretty much have. And any fish that have died in the last few months, I totally take all full responsibility that it was my fault in some way, shape, or another, because I didn't control the outcomes of their tanks as much as I should have, and I got depressed because of people that passed away and yada yada, so on and so forth. Basically, a lot of my friends have died in the last few months, and it's kind of left me a depressed mess, not sure which direction where to go, or etc etc. And that also kind of woke me up in another sense that people aren't going to be here forever, so I might as well start doing something with my life other than sitting on my ass and expecting it to come to me, because things don't always come to those who wait. You got to go out there and get it. I had warm coffee on the counter, but it got cold. I really don't like microwaves because I realize how much radiation they actually put off. I've been wondering what these little plants are that are growing in the windowsill for weeks and haven't figured it out yet. I forgot what I planted, so we'll figure it out when they grow something. They're like they look like chili pepper plants, but they could also be basil. Because I remember I planted basil in there. I planted thyme in that same pot. I've planted all kinds of different little herbs and spices and stuff. And the only thing that took is whatever's growing. Not sure what it is. And I don't want to lift the pot up right now and bring it over here because water will end up all over the floor somehow. My dragon fruit basically is dying. Um, a lot of things can't be controlled. Winter weather is one of them. I'd like to be able to control the winter weather a little more next year, and I'm trying to divulge ways to restart and rebuild the greenhouse to the point that it'll be, you know, profitable and enjoyable. And that's also, like I said, hobbies are a part of distracting your brain from old habits and changing those old habits and rearranging them with something new. I put this up like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she hasn't brought home a single marker to use it. So, what was the point of me putting it up? I don't know. Can be used for a lot of things like writing notes. I wish I had a trumpet. I really do. Because that's the first thing I ever learned. And other than a recorder, obviously, but nobody really cares about a recorder. Trumpets are fun. And the only reason I say that is because they're basically the lungs of any orchestra or a marching band or a ska band, something like that. Jazz bands, they're the lungs. Or a trombone, or a tuba can be the lungs too. But I never really played either one of those. I played trombone maybe twice. I didn't like it. What's up, biggies? My eye is twitching. Stop. Oh, that bugs me when it does that. I wish I could get this song down already, Tocatino, so I could move on to the next thing and not have to worry about or stress about schoolwork later this week. I don't like having to do schoolwork on Sunday nights. I like getting it done before Sunday nights because then I can actually relax and watch all my TV on Sunday. Most people don't get that. That's also another way of distracting your brain. I've watched almost everything there is on television. I've binged watched almost everything there is on Netflix. I've other than the few things that I don't agree with and I won't watch. Um, I've binge watched almost everything on Hulu, other than again the things I don't agree with, and I won't watch or participate and give them the satisfaction of views, and so on and so forth. But my point is, I've gotten to the point I don't like sitting around watching TV anymore. I'd rather be outside. I'd rather be out literally doing something else. And I guess that comes from boredom or something like that. Who knows? I know that I used to be an addict. It doesn't bother me to say that or admit that. And, it took years to get off. Years. And I did it, and I see other people going through it, and I just don't understand it, I guess. But, I guess they have to had gone through it just like I went through it to get to the other side of it. And some people don't always make it to the other side. Some people don't make it to 12 years. It's like they don't. It just doesn't happen for everybody. And, you know, yeah. Some people go right back out and right after they get out of rehab and literally just fall apart. They go right back to the same crap. And that's why they call it chasing the dragon, because you are chasing a literal dragon. You're not gonna find the end of that dragon. There's not gonna be no pot of gold. There's not gonna be no shiny rainbow. It's really just a never ending cycle when you're addicted to something as hardcore as heroin or even, an upper like methamphetamine. Because there's been plenty of people in my family that I could say have been addicted to that shit, and they never came back from it. Ever. Friend of mine growing up is also my dad's friend. He had a back surgery. This is in 2010. I was just getting off and clean, and basically he died because of abuse of drugs. But the point is if he wasn't abusing those drugs, he would have had nothing for pain because they basically cut him off for all his pain medications, and his back was deteriorating. And I guess what happened is he went through convulsions after his last dose of, you know, dope and meth, or meth and heroin, or both dope. So I'm just going to call it dope. And he died. And that was somebody that I literally grew up around, looked to him as a second father. And there's nothing I could do about it, nothing nobody could do about it. You know, it's like, yeah, just life. And another friend of ours a couple years before that told me, don't get into that crap. And it's like, you spoke too soon, you probably shouldn't have never told me that. On another note, it's like, I'm kind of glad those people showed me and told me and got me away from all that by telling me that, because what they did tell me actually helped me learn from my mistakes, learn from my past, learn from everything that I was doing wrong. I mean, shit, for the most part, when I had 500 or more subs, that was prior to going to the mental hospital. People didn't know that I was on heroin that whole entire fucking time. Whole time. It was like the first 3 years of me being on YouTube. And I deleted all that content. So it's not anywhere anymore. But the point I'm making is, I was crazy. Like, out of this world crazy. Like, she said something about him writing in blood on the walls. No, I went further than that. Fuck writing in blood. I just destroyed things. I didn't give a fuck. And that isn't a way to live. I mean, it isn't a way to live when you attack people that you actually love and care about. It isn't a way to live when you steal from people that you actually love and care about. And you know what is even crazier to me is when those people have the audacity and the heart, a Christ-like heart to me, because only Christ was like that. It's like they forgave me. Really, they forgave me, and I probably shouldn't have been forgiven. There's a lot of things that I've done that I probably shouldn't have been forgiven for, but he died on the cross so that we would all be forgiven of our sins. And at the end of the day, people forget that. And I have friends that just recently went out and got stupid tattoos on their face satanic tattoos and yada yada. I can't judge them though, because they've got to learn from their mistakes. Nobody can teach them but themselves. If you don't learn, how are you ever going to get past it? You won't. I've learned a lot lately about how to control the temper, not just explode. I've had to work on that a lot lately. Actually, a lot through my last 12 years of getting sober, recovery, as you want to call it. I don't even like that word, recovery. Because what are you recovering? You're not recovering. You lost everything. You literally lost everything to gain nothing. That's what don't lose the world to gain your soul means. A lot of the addicts don't understand when they are actually getting sober is don't gain the world to lose your soul means a lot more than you can think about it. It's actually kind of a sobering thought. So you guys found out why I'm such a pretentious dick, too. Hello. I learned to cope with crappy, shitty people crapping all over me. And I don't mean that in a literal sense. I mean it in a figurative sense. I'll put it like this. I've seen people OD on the floor, and I'm the guy that basically took the needles out so cops didn't arrive. And yeah, they just overdose. Like, you don't want that to be their last hurrah kind of thing. I was that guy. I don't like that. That bothers me. That's the number one thing that bothers me. I'd seen people dead for a drug. It's stupid. I just left. That's just as bad as giving them the means. And if this is too real for people, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to give you a broad understanding of what it's like after addiction. You have to understand what happened during addiction to understand after addiction. I don't care if it even loses me subs. I mean, I've already lost half the ones that I had before, anyways. And they were only here because of how crazy I was acting, and that was way prior to fuck your feelings, yada 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 video. That was way prior to all that. I deleted, like I said, I deleted most of my content. I was hesitating the other day on whether or not to delete my older videos that have over 4,000 to 5,000 views so that my newer videos could get more views. And the reason on that is because I'm not that person anymore. I'm not that angry anymore. I was really angry when I first got off drugs. I really was. And to understand it all, like I see all these people saying they're on naloxone or they're still smoking weed, or like I don't hate you for still smoking weed. Do what you got to do to get yourself away from that mind frame, away from wanting dope every day. I mean, shit. There's people out there doing this kratom bull crap and tell me it gets them off heroin. To me, I tried that crap when I was trying to get away from it. That shit's worse. I really did. I tried it. It can cause seizures and all kinds of other shit. It shouldn't be illegal, but it is. And you can buy it in a smoke shop, a tobacconist. You can buy it at a tobacco shop. And I think that's absolutely absurd because it does nothing for people. It's an herb. Okay, well, let me rephrase that. It does something for people who are on withdrawal, but it does nothing for people who are already clean and sober from the drug. Honestly, thought I'd never be able to get to the point where I can open up and talk about my past and see how it would help somebody. I never thought that I would ever get to that point because I never thought it would help anybody. I really didn't. Caffeine's a drug, by the way. Caffeine is a drug. People out there. Caffeine is a legal drug, just like alcohol. Some people it gives the jitters. Some people it makes them act crazy. Me, it just wires me up. I guess that's the jitters. I don't know. And to anybody out there still watching, hi, hi, hi. Hi to everybody who stopped by. Hi. And no, I'm not high. I'm just saying hi. Basically, what I've been trying to say in this video, substance abuse isn't the real you. That's the old you. You learn how to kick that like a couple of rocks. Like people used to say that saying or that turn of phrase, kick rocks. I mean, it usually meant get out of here or something like that. Yeah. But it's like at the end of the day, you got to kick it like you're kicking rocks. You got to just tell it no. Because to me, that's the biggest form of a demon right there. That's a true demon, and it on some level is some molecular form that controls people. Really is. I've seen people straight up hurt people for stupid shit like that. It's dumb. And that's why I didn't label this video under pets and animals because it's more of a people and blogs video. And it's kind of explaining things and bringing them to a different perspective that most people couldn't understand or even fathom before, understanding part of my life. You got part of her life. If you watch the video, it's almost from 3 months now old. And I just was clicking through YouTube last night, just watching channels that I watched all the time. I deleted a bunch of people that I don't really support anymore, or I don't follow their channel. I don't follow their content because they've become too full of themselves. I by no means am gonna say that I'm an expert at anything, but I do wear a lot of hats. And what that means is I know a little bit about it, a little bit. I know enough to know. And I know enough to keep fish alive. And that's what I know I'm good at. I'm good at that. And I'm good at playing some music. It just depends on what it is. I'm good at building things with my hands too. Good at tearing things apart too. I'm also good at painting, but I obviously wasn't good enough for them. You know, they laid me off. I don't even hold any hate against them. I filed a labor report because they stiffed me of my check two times while I worked for them. And multiple times people didn't even clock me in on days that I was there all fucking day long. I was there 10 hours or more. So fuck those guys. But again, I don't hold any hatred. I just say fuck those guys because they weren't real people to me. They acted like judgy mofos. And half of them are felons. I'm just saying. And I don't want to associate myself with people who have already screwed their life up because they are felons. I'd rather hang around people that are going to uplift me in a way and not drag me down and bring me down to the dirt where they're already at. And that's part of, again, being in recovery. That word I really don't like because I just don't understand what you're recovering. You're not recovering much. You lost bits and pieces of your brain, especially if you did certain hard narcotics and you actually fried your frontal lobe in a state of disrepair. And there's only certain things that repair neuron pathways in the brain. And it's really hard to do, actually. You have to keep at it. You have to keep up a good diet. You have to do all kinds of things that a lot of people that are getting off drugs like that don't have the money to afford. Just saying. I've been a vegetarian almost about as long, if not longer. No, longer than I was an addict. I started being a vegetarian right after I was like 15, somewhere around there. Stupid Surrey. Anyways, this year would probably be the first year that I would ever eat meat, but the only stipulation to that is I want to go out and hunt it myself and use the animal, and whatever I don't use will be given to other people, etc., etc. But the point is I want to learn that type of lifestyle because I never got to learn it because my grandfather died before he could teach me it, etc., etc. But another reason why I moved where I moved because I wanted to learn the self-sufficient lifestyle. And what better place to do it than one of the last frontier states? Well, Idaho, Montana, parts of Washington. I say parts because there's a lot of open land. Parts of Oregon because there's again a lot of open land. But Alaska is really the true last frontier. That's what everybody calls it. But there are actual frontier states in the lower 48 people don't realize. And some of those I just mentioned. Montana is a really big frontier. I moved here because I liked all the wildlife. I liked all the greenery. You don't get this in California. You don't get snow year round in California. You can't go outside in California and not have somebody mean mug you or say something derogatory to you. And you can walk down the street in this city and everybody says hello, damn near. Just saying. Elle, you have the back door open. You don't need to open that door. She is a very smart dog. She can open the door with her nose. She just pushes it. Crazy how dogs can do that. I want to see a fish do that. Fish can't breathe out of water. Come on, people. That was funny. I'm in a chat room as well, if you're wondering what I'm laughing at. And my camera doesn't obviously work when I'm on a live video in the chat room, but the point is people are saying some stupid shit. Like, this one guy doesn't even work out, and somebody just asked him, Jam, what's your workout? He doesn't have one. Okay, here's another standpoint. That chat room that I'm speaking of, there's people that are of all different creeds and races and so on and so forth. And there's also people of different religious beliefs. And yet all these people learned one thing: they can have a common ground and not hate one another because a difference in beliefs. And that's kind of the same thing that I'm trying to reach with this video. Is people need to learn how to have a common ground and not judge somebody just based off of something they used to do, because that doesn't any longer define who they are as a person. That's what I believe. Anyways, that may not be anyone out there. I'm not trying to force opinion on anyone or put some form of thoughts in your head or anything like that, or some form of mind control, so to say, vice versa. I'm just trying to teach you from my perspective, my angle, what helped me. And by that, I'm probably going to end this video and do a StreamYard in probably like 2.5 hours once I figure out how to exactly set that up. I was just saying hi to YouTube and talking about some things that really kind of they irked me in some ways to want to do a YouTube video and talk about it, because reality is there's more than just one or two YouTubers that faced a drug addiction, and they have probably 1.8 million subscribers and people that actually look up to them and follow them and yada yada, so on and so forth. The point that's being made is be the outreach. Don't put other people down just because you didn't go through that scenario and you can't figure out why they would put themselves through that scenario to get a better perspective on life or try to help somebody, because I can concur that people have tried to help me when I was addicted and I really just pushed most of them away. One of those people still does help me to this day, and that'd be my mom. And a lot of people don't realize we live together. We share everything. Flat out. I make money, she makes money, we still put it in the same bank account. Still goes to the same place. It goes to paying rent for this house, paying bills and utilities, And basically, I had to learn that life wasn't all just given. You had to actually work for it. And basically, you can't just expect all the time. You have to, again, work for it. You can't just sit around and expect this and that and shit to change, and you're not ever putting any effort forward to change or change the scenario around you. You're just repeating the same old cycle. And to me, that's called Albert Einstein's method of insanity, to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and expect a person or people in general to change, but they won't. People are only going to change when they want to change. It's just like a rapper, Jelly Roll, always says, I was too focused and worried about the alligators inside the swamp that I forgot about everything that was going on around me. And he says it in a song, but in a different way. And I just shared it in a way that more people could understand. Oh, that fart. Oh, fart. Fart. Anywho, the way I see it is I lost a shit ton of subscribers, or not subscribers, followers on Instagram. And the reason was because somebody hacked my Instagram. And I guess this was all going on around the same time that the person I mentioned earlier in this video was going through their addictive phase, or yada yada. But the point is I didn't know anything that was even going on because my Instagram got hacked. I haven't been in the loop of a lot of things going on because I don't have half the following that I used to on Instagram because it got hacked. I had almost 700 followers on Instagram before that happened, and I was starting to build a following again on YouTube. And then once that happened, it all fucking went away. And I don't get what happened. Maybe because I've been absent so much, but I've been absent so much to try to get those trolls that were messing with my accounts and trying to hack my phone or whatever they were trying to hack, my email, or, all those things that I just mentioned, phones, emails, all those things are very easily obtainable, and they can actually hack into your stuff without you even knowing, and implant malware and spyware so that they can basically copy everything you do. So it doesn't matter what you do. The only fix to that is to go out and get a new electronic device. Yeah. And so basically what I'm trying to explain is because of all that, I've been out of the loop on a lot of people's posts, on a lot of people's channels. So if you didn't know already, you should probably go re-follow me on Instagram. It's Cryptic Nick the Dick, because I had to change my Instagram because the person in the Middle East, whoever they were, I don't really judge people by their, you know, their ethnicity or their country of origin. I judge them based off of their character. The person in the Middle East who hacked me is a scumbag and did so to be a even bigger scumbag, and probably followed on for a couple of months. And then a couple of months later, after I got hacked on my Instagram, I got hacked through my job app, WAG, and basically the person stole $300 out of my bank account right before Christmas. Right when all this stuff was going on with the person I mentioned earlier in this video, aka Taylor. And I just thought it was kind of crazy that, I didn't know anything was going on. I didn't even know anything that was going on in the fish community, YouTube community, anything. Because, like I said, now I have very few people that I used to follow. I used to have a bunch of people that I followed from YouNow and a couple other sites, and I don't really particularly care for YouNow anymore because they've completely turned that website into nothing but smut. And what I mean by smut, it's just crap. The whole website's based off of clicky bullshit and drama. And I am above that. I had to get away from that. And I stopped all my subscriptions. I stopped everything on YouNow. I actually was giving people money every month. For what? For doing a fucking video and having a little badge in your goddamn video? Get the fuck out of here with that bull crap. You ain't worth that. That's just like giving some hooker on the internet some money so she takes her fucking clothes off. I mean, same concept. Would you rather have the milk or the cow? I think you'd rather have the cow and be able to get the milk. Just saying. Don't treat your body like a cow that can be sold to everything. And it won't be. And I don't mean that in any derogatory sense to anybody I've mentioned in this video. I'm just saying that in general. I've always said that. That's always been something I've said is, do you sell the milk or do you sell the cow? You sell the milk, not the cow. But, yeah. Some people are too dumb to even figure out what I mean by that. That ain't up to me to explain it. That's one of those things you just kind of got to go, aha! Oh, that's what he meant. Goes back to the thing of your body being a temple. Do you sell your temple? No. Because that's considered self-slavery. AKA, we're not supposed to be held in bondage. We are free from bondage. I'm glad to see that Taylor got away from that person because that person is very, very ill up here. And that's the most of what I'm going to say in this video. And she thought she could help him. She thought she could change him. But like I've said again and again, you can't change someone who isn't willing to accept your help. You can't. It just doesn't work. You can try and try and try, but you're really never going to succeed at what you're trying to do. Your accomplishment is all going to be for naught. And at the end of the day, don't be that person that the other person can sit there and blame for their addiction, because you aren't their problem. Not my monkeys, not my circus. You aren't the person who caused their addiction. It's them. It's themselves. That's some self-awareness right there. If you can't figure out self-awareness, I just taught you some. If you ever had an addiction to anything, you know where I'm coming from. If you haven't, you don't know where I'm coming from. And this video is probably not the content for you. And that's all I can say. You can go click on the next video and the next video and the next video. But my point of view is just my point of view. It's just that. It's not an opinion. It's just a point of view that I thought up. And I knew that somebody needed to do a video other than, a hate video towards her, because, that isn't the right avenue to go. That doesn't build people up. It tears them down. It ruins people's thought and perception of other people. And you don't ever want to do that. And I get that dude made her sign an NDA, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have signed shit. I'd have told him to go fuck himself. I'd have sued his ass. That's me. But that's also holding on to a little bit of a hate. You can't do that if you're going to move on. So you got to weigh your options in life. You can't always just weigh off, oh, I'm going to do this out of anger and this out of anger. But you kind of got to weigh it on, were they a good person? Da, 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 da. It's kind of like the scale that they talk about in heaven. It's like, I think it's Peter standing at the gates and he has this scale of good and the bad you did in your life, so on and so forth. The good and the bad need to be weighed equally. When they're weighed equally, then you have tranquility in your life. And tranquility is a hard thing to achieve if everything around you is just negativity. And with that being said, I could say more on this whole subject, but I feel like I've beat a dead horse till it's dead, and I can't beat it no more. I had the most amazing girl of my life leave me because I became an addict. I wish that it wouldn't have turned out that way, but it happened. We're still best friends. Is what it is. I had to change to be able to see what she didn't like about me. And I now know what she didn't like about me. And it was what I was doing to myself. It's like most people can't figure that out. It takes them a lifetime to figure that one thing out. Can't blame other people for it either. Blame yourself. And once you're done blaming yourself, pick the pieces back up off the ground. And you might have to do that a couple million times in life. Don't get so distracted by the alligators in the swamp that you forget to clean out the swamp. Ow. My knees. I forgot to check how many miles I walked today. Only 0.6. Wow, I'm doing good today. Yesterday I walked 7.5 miles. So today I'm kind of trying to keep it easy and not do as much. When you walk a lot like that, you kind of burn other reservoirs of energy, and you got to kind of do something to replenish that energy. I didn't do much to replenish it. Anywho, don't forget that with the faith of a mustard seed, you can move any mountain. Don't let molehills become mountains or obstacles in your way. And don't forget to be kind to others always, even when they're not kind to you. Because one kind word or one kind thought can help change that person's day and the rest of their life. And it can change your perspective on their addictions. Don't judge the person just based off of, oh, they were a heroin addict or they are a heroin addict or they're trying to yada yada yada. I wouldn't have half the friends if I do it if I did that. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this content. And I don't care if you share this, it doesn't really bother me. Just no judgy comments. Those will be deleted, they won't even be shared. And with that being said, goodbye. I'm out.